Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this January, the first meeting, actually, official meeting of our council for the year 2026. Councillor Riley's on Zoom this evening. He isn't feeling well, but the rest of our council are present. Today is Monday, January 26th, and if you are able, please stand for the singing of O Canada, presented by Smithville Public School this evening. So, before beginning this meeting, I'd like to make the following announcements. The public may submit comments for matters that are on the agenda to jpaylove@westlincoln.ca before 4:30 on the day of the meeting. Comments submitted will be considered as public information and read into the public record. And number two, this meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded and will be available on the Township's website. So we'll begin, as always, with the land acknowledgement statement. The Township of West Lincoln, being part of Niagara Region, is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Wendourong, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Township of West Lincoln, as part of the regional municipality of Niagara, stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. And Councillor Maychak, you have the opening petition this evening.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We gather here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us.
Thank you, Councillor. Members of Council, are there any changes in order of items on the agenda? And seeing none, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and/or conflict of interest? Good. And again, seeing none. Number 6 on our agenda is always an opportunity for members of the public to speak. So I'm going to just point that out so that if people happen to be watching and they have that in mind, that they know this would be their time. So there shall be no comments from the public permitted at council unless A, a specific appointment has been scheduled, or B, an item is included under the other business or communications or appointment sections of the agenda and relates to a matter which would normally be dealt with at committee. So this is 6.7 of our procedural bylaw. And I'm going to ask, just Kevin, there's nobody, I know that Elizabeth is here with an appointment. Is there anyone online who might want to speak?
Just Councillor Riley.
Just Councillor Riley, he's part of our agenda, so that's good. Thank you. Okay. So under appointments, we have with us this evening Elizabeth Zimmerman, who's the Executive Director of the YWCA, and she's going to speak to us about an upcoming event that we have taken part in for a good many years. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak tonight. That's kind of my annual visit. First off, I want to start by thanking all of you for all of the participation. You've been a faithful participant of this event for many years. I'm going to look to you, Mayor. I know you've done this for a number of years.
I think I started a few councils back. I think I missed the first one. Are you up to 10?
This is actually our 11th
You're
year.
11th. Then I've probably done, we're doing this one, so I will probably end up having done 10 out of the 11.
Wow,
I think I just
that's
missed the first one.
remarkable. So thank you so much.
With Doug, right? Doug Joyner was the mayor then. Go ahead.
So I have a short presentation. I'll be as quick as possible, just to add context to this event. So this event supports women, families in the Niagara community, and in terms of our supported transitional housing program and our skills development program that we do in West Niagara. So that's in Grimsby, Lincoln, and West Lincoln. So I'm just going to bypass. So, no, why is it going backwards? There we go. Just to put it into context, in Niagara, we are seeing over 1,000. It's come up kind of strange. There's over 1,130 people who are experiencing homelessness, and of that, over 100 are children between the ages of 0 and 15. And I like to highlight this because it's not something that we often associate with homelessness. We often think about what we hear about a lot around encampments and adult single people who are experiencing homelessness. But really, one of the growing populations are families, and often led by a single parent. So this puts a little bit of that into context. And, we don't want to see children homeless. We don't want to see families experiencing homelessness. And that's one of the things that this program does, is it helps to keep people from becoming completely homeless. The supported transitional housing program out in West Niagara is a program that we had lease apartments, and the family has stable housing with rent supplements for up to 3 years. During that time, we're working with them with the idea that at the end of the 3 years, it may be possible for them to assume that lease. So we're looking at how do we improve their financial situation, deal with any other issues that they may be dealing with, to provide that stability and be able to then, we move on and they stay housed in that apartment. They've made the relationship with the landlord. We've worked with them to ensure that they understand the responsibilities around tenancy, as well as ensuring that they understand their rights as a tenant in that time as well. So we provide a number of programs. We do emergency shelter for women and their families experiencing homelessness, and then we have 4 different transitional housing programs. We do skills development, and the other thing that we do is we also work with survivors of trafficking, particularly survivors of sex trafficking. So our mission, to be the change agent for community transformation, ending gender inequity and social injustice, and our vision, an equitable society where women and families thrive. This is a brief overview of the different programs that we have. It's pretty comprehensive. Anyone in any of our programs out in West Niagara would be able to access any of the skills development programs or anything else. It's around those supports to ensure that they're getting the skills or whatever they need to be able to move forward. We are the only organization in Niagara directly serving victims of human trafficking in the region. Our program is actually quite unique, both provincially and nationally, as it's crisis housing. So if someone identifies that they are being trafficked and looking for safety and exiting their trafficking situation, we can support in the immediate. We also are a part of an emergency response protocol, so any woman or gender diverse person who would identify as being trafficked can immediately have supports. So in our housing programs, we had over We had 562 women that we've served, 97 men, 14 gender diverse people, and 183 children. So it gives you a little bit of context to the amount of need there is in the community. So here we are in West Niagara, and here I am today asking you to participate in Coldest Night of the Year. We've had great support from the town of West Lincoln for many years, as we've just spoken about. We've also are encouraging all mayors and council members from the 3 communities to help support this and participate, and to encourage the community to also participate. It's the only fundraiser that we do, and it is not a, this is, as I said, the major fundraiser that we do to ensure that that program stays in this community and that we can continue to support it. February 28th. So it's not too far away. There's lots of ways to sign up. You can be part of, I'm sure, the mayor's team.
Team West Lincoln.
Team West Lincoln. And I hope to that we will see you there. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. So, other than we can't arm twist, we do have a few members on board, some people from staff, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
And a few of us. And one member of the public so far that has taken part for a period of time, but she's our best fundraiser, so we asked her to be on our team since she comes from West Lincoln. But are there any questions for Elizabeth about Coldest Night of the Year or about the programs that they run? Obviously, this is the night that helps them raise funds. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is the very coldest. We were speaking earlier about how mild some of the evenings have been, and others have been snowy and cold. So, Councillor Bradrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much for your presentation, and thank you for all the work that your organization does. I know that part of your presentation did highlight the specifics on the homelessness within West Lincoln, and that we do not have a current shelter. How are those individuals directed to those kinds of supports within this community? Can you answer that?
So if somebody is experiencing complete homelessness, yes, unfortunately in West Niagara, so all 3 communities, there is not an actual shelter. What we would do is transport that individual or family into either St. Catharines or Niagara Falls or Welland, where the shelters are. Shelters are expensive and it's hard to have one in every community. They're 24-hour operations, and I think that that's the power of doing things like the program that we do operate out in this community, because we are trying to avoid that situation of homelessness from happening in the first place. And so if we can have somebody, we work with lots of community partners who might identify somebody who's at risk, like the food banks, community cares, Grimsby Benevolent Fund, and that if someone is identified, that we can get them housed before they become absolutely homeless. And that's particularly important for our families. So although you don't have that shelter, there are support services which ideally prevent that individual from becoming, or that family from becoming, absolutely homeless.
So just to follow up, if I may, I can hear prevention is definitely the key goal for sure,
yeah.
But I'd like to, if I could, turn to the CAO for a question about our own municipality and what have we ever thought of, or could we provide any type of warming for people on such cold days like we've had? CAO?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to Councillor Broderick. So West Lincoln does have listed, I guess to step back a bit, when we get to -10, that triggers the region's Niagara Region Homelessness Service, and they declare a winter advisory. That then provides emergency beds into St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and Welland, as we heard discussed here. On the list of emergency shelters, or not shelters rather, but warming centers throughout the region, we do have our community center and the libraries are listed. So during operational hours, those facilities can be accessed as warming centers, but we're not staffed resourced, and the staffing that we do have, like was just mentioned, the complexities of that operation. We don't have that expertise or staffing capacity in-house to do the overnight service. It was mentioned that transport can be provided. I know Niagara Regional Transit does provide that free of charge for people to go into Welland, Niagara Falls, or St. Catharines, to those centres there. We certainly could explore it if council was interested in providing warming spaces overnight. I think what we would find, though, is the cost for West Lincoln would be somewhat prohibitive. So right now, unfortunately, we are transporting people out of the community that are in need.
If I could just ask a further question, I would assume that your frontline staff have access to that information to pass on to those individuals if they did need overnight shelter. Go ahead.
Yes, that's correct, Madam Mayor. We do have that information at the community centre, and the discussion today refreshed everybody on that as well.
Very good. Thank you. That's all my questions.
So thank you for that. In addition to that, of course, I think our staff know that if somebody were to appear in the daytime, that they could access West Lincoln Community Care, who in turn would likely, if it was a serious situation, reach out, to Elizabeth's team. So I think we have those connections in place. We just don't have something happening here quite the same way.
If I could,
Please,
Mayor,
Elizabeth, go ahead.
one of the other resources that you would have as a community is the Niagara NASO, the Niagara Street Outreach Team. And that is, should be listed on the region's website through Homelessness Services. So NASO is a team of individuals that support those who are unhoused and will help to connect them to shelter or other resources. So that is a region-wide service.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Councilor Maychak, I had you down. I just was looking to the other side in case I'd ignored somebody, but I do have you down. I wasn't going to pass on you. Go ahead.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd love to participate or make a donation to the West Lincoln team. I think that's
you could come walk with us. It's not that far.
Participation is not optional.
You got me on the hook now. Certainly, I'll try my best, and I'm very interested in participating or contributing. My questions to Elizabeth, first of all, I echo Shelley's comments. Keep up the great work. It's so invaluable in this day and age, and you're doing some incredible work in the community, and we greatly appreciate that. In saying that, is there still occasions, and I guess there probably is, where you have to turn away people? Is there a need in Niagara Region for more shelter beds? And if so, are there any plans or any other support that you might need in the future? That's my one question. The other thing I was a little curious about, you mentioned about some single parents with families, they're able to get shelter for a 3-year period. After that 3 years is up, are they provided some subsidy, knowing how difficult it is for especially a single parent with kids to be able to afford the cost of rent today? So those are my questions, and
Sure.
I hope I can participate.
Forgive me, you may have to repeat them again. Sorry. First off, in terms of shelters, we are part of a system. So we are part of the homelessness shelter system. So if someone comes to our door and we don't have space, then we will work within the system to see if we can get that person into another shelter. There are a few different options. For families, there's what they call the interim family shelter placement, where they put them in hotels. We have family shelter units, but we only have 6. And then the Hope Center has some as well. But if those are filled, then they would place that family in the interim family shelter placement. We work with, and that's done through social assistance. We work with the social assistance team then if if a family comes into there to provide other supports to see how we can get them housed. So in terms of the 3-year program, this is what we call a supported transitional housing program. The program itself already has rent subsidies that we have through Niagara Regional Housing. Our work in that time is to bring them to a place where they can afford those apartments. We have had wonderful addition to the resources that we have. These are I'm sorry, I know the acronym names, and I don't always know exactly, I can't remember always what they stand for, but there is a subsidy that's provided through the provincial government that is a substantial subsidy. And so if we have those subsidies available, then someone might be able to have that moving out. But because that's not reliable, what we're really looking to do is work towards ensuring that those families will be self-sufficient once they move out of a program. So it's not perfect, but we certainly do try our best to ensure that we are not setting someone up for failure, that they will be able to maintain their housing post our program. The other piece is that all individuals coming into our supported housing programs or even in shelter, we do applications for Niagara Regional Housing, which is rent geared to income then. And I always call it winning the lottery because the wait lists are incredibly long. There is some priority status for women fleeing violence, and there is some prioritization for people experiencing homelessness, but it's not enough. You know, the challenge is there isn't enough housing that is absolutely affordable for those who are lower income, and that is a continual challenge. Absolutely. I hope that answers your question.
Good. Okay. All right. Seeing nothing further. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
You do great work. I think what council are coming to understand is that, you know, your piece is under many layers of umbrellas, right? So although the federal government is looking at the issue and the province is putting money in, it's disseminated through a lot of different agencies, and you are one of those. But you're ours. I always feel that there's lots of good stuff going on, but you are directly helping people in West Niagara in our 3 municipalities. So, you know, I sincerely thank you for that work, and we will see you on the 28th.
Thank you.
And if we
Thank
can
you
get
again.
some more money or an extra walker out of a few of our
Excellent.
councillors, we'll work on that
Excellent.
as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and speak to you tonight.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so Regional Councillor Woodavine is away on vacation, so we do not have councillors' remarks this evening, and that takes us to council minutes. Councillor Bradrick, you have the minutes from December 15th, 2025.
Oops, sorry. Was counting on Councillor.
You thought you had a bit more time?
So I wasn't ready to
Albert's
roll
not
in
here.
Thank you very much. So moved by myself, 1, that the minutes relating to the December 15, 2025 council meeting and the recommendations contained therein be accepted, and 2, that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion on December 15, 2025 council meeting be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with exemptions provided in Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. Someone to second those minutes, please? Councillor Chichok. And are there any questions or comments on the open portion section of those minutes? Okay, seeing none, then Mr. Clerk, when you're ready. We'll see if it's all operational tonight. Good. Got everybody? Okay. And that resolution carries. Good. Takes us to 9.2, which is the minutes of the all-committee meeting, including the public meeting from January 12th, 2026. And Councillor Trombetta, you have that resolution?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes relating to the January 12th, 2026, all committees, including public meetings and the recommendations contained therein be accepted, and that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of January 12th, 2026, all committees, including public meetings, be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you, Councillor. Someone to second those, please? Councillor Bradrick? Are there any questions on the open portion session? Seeing none, again, Mr. Clerk, please. Counselor?
Vote's done.
So you said on the open section, but number 2 says relating to the closed section.
So I asked if there were any questions or comments on the open portion of the minutes.
Oh, you just wanted to know if there's discussion, the other one is not for discussion.
No, no.
But they're encompassed both under the same.
Well, we're accepting both sections, but we can only discuss or have questions or comments on the open portion. Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Microphone's not on, Bill's probably thinking what's going on.
yes, go ahead and vote if you haven't voted yet. Okay, and that also carries. Okay, 9, okay, go ahead, Councillor Chichok, question?
Well, yes, this next motion. Microphone. Thank you. The next motion is about the public meetings, which in 9.2
It did mention the public meetings.
included public meetings, so is there not a redundancy there? And the clerk probably is shaking his head. So.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Through the mayor to Councillor Chichok, I understand the redundancy there. The first one is simply a description of what that meeting is titled as we declare it, which includes public meetings. However, it is noting specifically it's the all committees portion. This is just relating to the public meetings.
I firmly, I'm willing to move the motion now, but it's just that this came in brackets and it was sitting there saying, including public meetings.
Well, I think
So
the title
it's-
of the last meeting on January 12th was quite long.
Yes.
So I think perhaps that's what the clerk was addressing.
So maybe next time you wouldn't put including public meetings, so I'd feel worthy of putting motion forward for the public meetings.
So you will move this though, Councillor, right?
I will move it.
Okay, thank you.
Duplicate or not.
Just 1 second. Councillor Rayner, you had a question?
Yes, you said was quite wrong. Is that the one that finished at 11:56
No.
p.m.?
Mike, your mic.
Is that the one that finished at 11:56 p.m.
That
you
is the
referred-
meeting that finished very late,
No.
January 12th.
I thought somebody over there said no.
Well, somebody over there isn't me. I said yes, it is the meeting that ended
We'll
late.
listen to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, you're very welcome. Go ahead, Councillor Chichok.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And yes, Councillor Rayner was paying very close attention to that meeting on the 12th because the 13th was his birthday, so he didn't want to be spending time with us. If you'll remember, now that he's brought it up again, I assumed that's what he wanted me to mention. So, moved by myself that the minutes relating to the January 12th, 2026 public meetings be accepted.
And someone to second those. Councillor Rayner, can I put your name there?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. And so I'm just going to call for the vote on that, please. And that carries. Thank you. So there are no communications this evening, but there are mayor's remarks. So and I'm going to say that the mayor's remarks are actually twofold. One, to make sure that members of the public are aware of things that have occurred. And the second is that they actually provide a lot of information to the council remarks that go out, that our communication specialist sends out, which actually inform a great many people who have subscribed to those. So you have to listen whether you were there or whether you're already aware of some of these things or not. So January 26th of 26. January started off well with West Lincoln's mayor and council levy taking place on January 3rd. Although we don't have an exact number of residents, there were certainly a lot more families taking part in the 2-hour free skate than in the past couple of years. Additionally, we went through well over 300 cups of coffee and hot chocolate, hundreds and hundreds of Oli Bowl and Greek pastries and Timbits. I would like to thank Liz and Albert Witteveen for their generous contribution of pre-made Oli Bowl and batter to help kick off the cooking. Ken, Lynn, and Nick Brunaccioni for keeping the warm Oli Bowl and coming out of the community center kitchen in a timely manner. The youth of the MIAC committee for serving all food and drinks. John Gannan and our clerk Justin Paylov for setting up, decorating, and getting the hot drinks ready. And additionally, the community center staff for their help as well. Those who did not take part in the free skate certainly enjoyed visiting with each other and listening to the beautiful voice of local musician Stephanie Duchesne. I have heard since from many of our residents from all 3 wards that they very much appreciated that our CAO and most members of council were in attendance to wish them all the best for 2026. As in past years, one of the benefits of holding the levy in the lobby of the community center is that by drawing in residents for this social opportunity, many have come to realize all that the community center has to offer, including such things as the walking track, various gym programs, and many new general recreational programs. They have additionally become familiar with our newest library and the wonderful programs that it offers residents of all ages. On January 12th, we were able to pass the 2026 budget related to West Lincoln's portion of the tax bill at a very low 1.26%. Keeping in mind the unpredictability of the economic circumstances that currently exist and the financial difficulties being faced by many of our residents, we were determined to keep this increase as low as possible while still providing the services to our residents that they expect and deserve from their community. At this time, we still do not know what the regional impact will be on our overall tax bills, but currently it appears to be under 7%, with the police budget making up approximately 4.5% of that. That is most definitely better than in the past few years. The next regional budget meeting will take place on Thursday, February 12th. Earlier in the day, on January 12th, we were pleased to raise the Crime Stoppers flag to show West Lincoln's support for the efforts put forth by this group to benefit the entire Niagara region. CAO McBride, Councillors Bradrick, Chichok, and Riley, and I attended the annual Rural Ontario Municipalities Association Conference in Toronto from Sunday, January 18th to Tuesday, January 20th. We attended a great many valuable information/learning sessions, but the highlight of Roma was being able to meet with Parliamentary Assistant Sandhu from the Ministry of Infrastructure and Parliamentary Assistant Ray from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to discuss the needs of West Lincoln directly with ministry officials and their staff members. We had great, positive, and informative dialogue during both of our delegation sessions. Another highlight for West Lincoln this year, timed with, but not actually part of the conference, was being invited to attend a ceremony on Sunday evening to be awarded a certificate from the province recognizing West Lincoln as an age-friendly municipality by the Ontario government. This invitation came from the Minister of Seniors and Accessibility, the Honourable Raymond Cho. On another topic, when the West Lincoln Memorial Hospital new build came official, the original hospital committee on which I began to sit in 2018 transitioned to a hospital community council. We have continued to meet 4 times per year throughout the build. The second last meeting of that community council took place on Wednesday, January 21st. I have a few updates from that meeting as follows. 1. At the public session held last week regarding the outdoor artwork, and I don't know if anybody attended that. So that artwork that's going in the outside part and the landscaping had already been included in the cost of the hospital, so it's not an additional cost. But the community members who attended that meeting favored the bird concept. I guess there were a couple of concepts that were presented and they liked the bird, especially in acknowledgement of the presence of the hawks in the area. So it will be, the description looks like something that will be very tall with some kind of hawk near the top. The second item that came out of that is the redevelopment update from the hospital. Final interior touch-ups are being done. Preparations are being made for the demolition of the old hospital. The portion of the old hospital referred to as the Globe Building is expected to be down by month's end. Completion of the demolition, the parking lot, the main entrance, and landscaping is to be completed by December of 2026. And in the meantime, the emergency department will be still the main entrance for many more months to come. And that's been problematic for members of the public, and that's why I put it in. So although as the equipment moves out from the build, they're gradually putting in more parking close to the hospital, they're acknowledging that that's still going to be problematic. Since the official opening of the hospital, they have averaged approximately 75 ER visits per day. So it's been a busy time. And staff teams are settling into the space well. However, as it's all still quite new, and they've been extremely busy with patients who began arriving day 1 of their opening. So there have been a few glitches, although nothing serious. And then this past Saturday, I represented West Lincoln at the grand opening of Grimsby's major refrigeration Peach King Centre. In attendance were MP Dean Allison, MPP Sam Osterhoff, Regional Chair Bob Gale, and Lincoln's Mayor Sandra Easton, along with, of course, many local business leaders and hundreds of residents excited to see their beautiful new facility. And finally, 3 pieces of good news in West Lincoln. Number 1, thanks to the dedicated work of our clerk and our Director of Growth and Sustainability, we were notified in the past week of being the recipients of a $40,000 Rural Ontario Development, or ROD, grant to allow for building on the previous work done in 2025 with our local businesses. Number 2, again, thanks to these same 2 staff members, we are now aware that a considerable amount of rural broadband funding, that's a mouthful, will be put into our municipality in 2026 and 27. An official announcement to the public will be released shortly. So that's good news for those of us who don't have it. And the region is moving forward on Municipal Class Environmental Assessment Study, or EA, for the Smithville Downtown Bypass, the old Highway 20. And so the main objective of that study is to identify and evaluate alignment options for a Highway 20 bypass around downtown Smithville. In addition, a critical goal of the project is to improve safety for both pedestrians and drivers. So to the public and to members of council, a public information center will take place on February 12th, 2026 from 5:30 to 7:30 at the West Lincoln Community Center, where members of the public will be able to hear the details of the EA, learn about the process, and participate in discussions related to this study. And that's the end of my remarks for January. So we have nothing to reconsider. We have no notice of motion to rescind, and that takes us to other business. So I'm going to go to members of council for anything that they would like to bring up this evening. So, Councillor, I was going to start with you. Did you put your hand up? I did. Well done. Councillor Trombetta, I'll start with you.
Not much, Madam Mayor, but I did want to give a shout out to the guys in Public Works, Mike
Thank you for
DePaula, Trey Benish, Dave Lane. There's a lot of work that they've been working their butts off for this winter so far. I think this is one of the worst winters since 2018 is what I'm hearing that we've had. We've had some lucky winters where it kind of melts. But I would say I have been calling them regularly. We have some drift controls, and they've been out there on a regular basis maintaining the drifts, which I find are worse than snowstorms. So I just want to give a shout out to the Public Works guys if they're listening. We're not out of the woods yet. We've still got another month to go, but just want to recognize the hard work they have been doing so far.
Thank you for that. I like your optimism. We only have a month to go. I really hope you're correct on that one, but thank you. I think we all share in that. We realize how hard they've all been working, but thank you for voicing that. Councillor Bradrick, anything this evening?
Nothing, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Maychak.
I'm going to echo the comments just in terms of, I know my particular street, how early they get out before people go off to work. So it's not only they're efficient, they tend to get things done quite quickly, at least in Ward 3. So just want to express my thanks as well. And I know the residents are very pleased with the work they do as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I actually walked home from here today and was pleased that the sidewalks were also all the way cleared. So it made a big difference. So thank you. Councillor Rayner, anything this evening?
A couple things. Madam Mayor, in your remarks, you mentioned about the region and that it's at 7%, which is still...
No, I said under 7%.
Okay, but that's still very high.
I don't know where it's going to
That's
end
still
up,
very
Councillor.
high. Last year was 9.6, and you indicated a lot of it was with the police. And now this one, you've indicated that 4.5% of that is the police. I'm just wondering if the region should be taking a different stand. The police have basically had an upper hand for a long time, and they want this and they want that, and they take a considerable amount of our budget. But we have the police chief and the deputy chief, and you look at the salaries and what these people make. Why can't we go and tell them this is the % increase you will get? We want you, as head of the operations, to find more efficient ways of getting the job done so that we can keep the taxes down. If you keep handing them the money all the
So,
time
Councillor,
that
I'm
they
going to
ask.
stop you right there because all of the departments were asked to come in, including the ABCs, the agencies and the boards, to come in as close to 3.5. That was the direction from Regional Council. And so if you look at the portion that's left, everybody else came in quite low. But extra, I'm going to say responsibilities have been placed from the provincial government on the police in order for them to be able to provide what they call equitable and fair and appropriate policing to the public. They came back at 11.2. And so that is still the sticky point. So at this point in time, it was sent back to them, and the board decided to hold firm on what they were looking for, and so we still don't have a regional budget. So I don't really want to discuss that any further than that, because that still will happen moving forward. But I understand 100% what you're saying, and quite honestly, we've done what we can at this point in time.
I know in the private sector, when we've been strapped for dollars where, you know, I was in the milk industry and the stores said, this is how much we're giving you for your milk. And it wasn't what we needed in order to maintain the level that we were running at. It was up to us to find more efficient ways in order to do the cost savings within the plant to make the numbers come out so that they're viable.
So,
And I'm
Councillor, I'm going
thinking
to
the
stop
same
you
thing.
again, because once again, they felt that they had come down considerably from what they really felt that they needed to do the job to reach that 11.2. So I'm just going to cut off the discussion about the police budget at this point in time. Do you have another point that you wanted to talk about? Because this is not the time for that.
When is the time?
They're in my office perhaps, but not
Yeah, but that's
not
private. The
publicly.
public should know that we're
The public
trying to
will be
keep the
well
police
aware.
budget down.
What I hoped you were going to say is that you would hope that the police budget portion would be separated out from the regional portion moving forward, and that is something that we're working on, so that members of the public understand fully what the police department is costing them, apart from other regional services. So they are working towards that.
Still doesn't ease the pain though, does it?
So I'm moving on then. And you had 2 points, you said. Is there something besides that?
No, I think based on how this one's going, I think I won't do the second one.
Okay, but anytime, please feel free to have a conversation about that. I'd be happy to show you those information pieces. Councillor Chichok, anything from you?
Well, most of everything has been covered, but I want to echo the remarks that Councillor Trombetta started with, and that is the efforts that have been put on by our road crews. And the reason I say that is some people may be somewhat troubled by the fact that a few roads within the township, one, are not owned or operated by us, but by the region, and I'm not trying to point those out, but there also are roads where there's great open stretches, and that drifting that Councillor Trombetta mentioned is just devastating when you're trying to get home. So, but I do notice that our guys are out there, and I can hear those plows out there throughout the night and throughout the day. So there's nothing we can do. Mother Nature is a stronger force than us, and these minutes that our plows go down the road, there's drifting again, and sometimes to a point where it's a whiteout when everything else is normal. So I caution people to look for drifting and to accept it as something that happens at this time of year. And I hope that everyone will take that extra precautionary time not to get into a ditch because they were expecting it to be raw pavement. So I think our people, in fact, I went to Guelph the other day, and on the trip to Guelph, I would say that West Lincoln had the best roads of anything I went through. So I want to congratulate our guys and just caution people to watch for drifting snow, which we can't do too much for about.
Can't stop the wind, absolutely not. I thought perhaps you might want to give a bid to a Kiwanis event?
Well, you know, I never know whether to use those or not, but...
Well, you can do that because we...
But on the 28th of February, the Kiwanis of West Lincoln are holding a trivia night, so for everybody who knows a little bit about everything or not a lot about anything and wants to come out and have good time, fellowship, and rings and things, which is wings and onion rings and some other stuff. But very much a good evening to show your talents and have great fun with a group of 6 at a table, with walking away, hopefully with the badge of honor that says that you may or may not have finished within the top 2 or 3 of the night. So at the Legion on St. Catherine Street, February 28th, open doors at 6:30, and the trivia questions start at 7. So I'll be there. I'll be looking for others to try and come up with better answers than I might have. So look forward to seeing you all.
Okay, and we didn't forget you, Councillor Riley. Do you have anything you want to add this evening?
Can you hear me first?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I don't have too much. I did just want to make a note just because the comment was made. I say this respectfully. I think Councillor Rayner needs to consider running for regional council if he wants to have that public debate, or at the very least attend those regional meetings, because again, we don't have any authority. I hate the idea, and I know it wasn't intentional, but to suggest that the public deserves to hear about a topic that we have no authority or jurisdiction over, I think needs to be rectified or needs to be clarified that that's a regional matter, and he knows that. And so I would encourage him at the election time, if he chooses to run again, maybe he needs to set his sights a little bit higher than just local council. Thank you.
Okay, so nobody has mentioned yet coming up, because it will only be a couple of weeks away, actually, is that there will be Family Day activities as well going on in West Lincoln. So for members of the public who may see this later or who may be watching this later, all day during the day of February 16th, lots of activities going on at our community center for Family Day. Okay. So I see no new items of business. Nobody has brought that to my attention at this point in time. And there are no confidential matters. And so, Councillor Riley, good thing you're there and you're loud and clear this evening. You have the bylaws.
I do, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that leave be granted to introduce bylaws 2026-01, 2026-02, 2026-03, and 2026-04, and that the same shall be considered to have been read a first, second, and third with one reading and are hereby adopted, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign and affix the corporate seal thereto, any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding.
Thank you. So someone to second bylaws this evening? Councillor Maychak? Okay, any questions about any of the bylaws? I think they're pretty clear. Mr. Clerk? And the vote should be in front of you. And that also carries. And so our business having been completed at the hour of 7:16, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.